You don't have as many connections as you used to. You're not close to certain family members. Your friendship numbers have dwindled. How can this be a good thing? Let's talk about outgrowing others on today's Ask a Strength. So one of the side effects when somebody's in therapy, for example, is that with your insights and personal growth and building awarenesses, in a way you become a bit of a different person. So who you used to relate to before in your life, how you related, the things that you found interesting or uninteresting can all be flip-flopping. Now, this doesn't have to happen just with therapy. Maybe you're on a journey, a personal quest of self-exploration. Maybe you're studying a new religion, doing some sort of spiritual work where you're challenging your old paradigm, shaking yourself out of being asleep. Now you're awakening in a way. Maybe you're getting over cognitive dissonance. I've done a video on that, where you know something's real, but it's too painful to take it on immediately. You know it's the truth, but you need to block it. Well, eventually that cognitive dissonance may begin to filter away. And then if it does, you've grown. This may mean changes in your outlook, in your viewpoints, in who you want to hang out with. So quite often, because of our training, our conditioning, what we're taught when we're little, we want all our friends and we want to keep them and we're friends for life. And we feel that way about family members, and there's other groupings of people that we relate to in this way. And so we begin to feel maybe threatened, that it's a bad thing if they fall away, if things naturally just drift apart. That can be the healthiest thing in the world for you. In a way, if we use a very simple analogy, let's say somebody's a chronic alcoholic, they've been a drinker for 20 years, their life has revolved around the local bar and their friends at the bar, and finally they hit rock bottom and they know they need to make a change or they may die. And so they make the change, and that's fantastic. They're in recovery, they're working on themselves. Well, it's easy to see that they're not going to be hanging out with their old bar friends anymore. Those people are gone. They're yesterday's news. This person who's in recovery will find that most everything from the past needs to be dropped away, and they need to look ahead what their new life is all about, where they're headed. And not only will they choose to have more healthy people around them in their life, but eventually they're going to just want that in a very natural way anyhow. Because it's like the saying, water seeks its own level. We gravitate to what we're comfortable with, who we want to be around, who share commonalities, common ideas. And so we're pointed in a new direction in a very natural, healthy way, as well as making a choice to say, I don't want these things in my life anymore. You're beginning to see the world differently. You're having new awarenesses and insights that it wasn't possible for you to have before. So when you're changing, other people around you, family, friends, etc., co-workers, they're in a way forced to change the way they relate to you because they're not relating to the same person after all. You're changing. Same difference if we flip it around and a coworker, a friend, a family member is changing significantly in their life. You're not going to be able to relate to them the way you used to perhaps. So things shift. They need the shift. And it's important to remember, if you're going through this, that everybody shifts and changes in their own way, in their own time period. There's no set way or right or wrong way of doing this. Personal growth, self-exploration, a personal awakening, all happens in different ways and means for different people. So some questions to ask yourself if you're not quite sure what's going on. Some key points to remember are, do you feel like an old version of yourself, an expired version of yourself, so to speak? If you feel like you're being treated like an old version of yourself, well, that's not fun. You don't want to be around that energy. That's like somebody treating you like you have the maturity level of somebody still in high school, let's say a 16-year-old, when indeed you're a 35-year-old man. It doesn't work. You're not the same person you were when you were in high school. So if somebody's trying to treat you that way or relate to you that way, it's a big red flag. What's going on there? And your energy will naturally have you divide from that person. They may want to joke with you about things that they thought were funny, maybe you thought were funny 10 years ago. It's not funny anymore to you. You've outgrown it. On some level, they are stuck in the past. You can ask yourself, does the relationship seem to uplift you or suck you down, invigorate you or deplete you? Follow your own energy, your own heart. If you feel like you're being dragged down by being around somebody, you've outgrown them possibly. Maybe you've been raised by narcissistic parents and you were so used to being talked to, being a people pleaser. You would just stand there and listen. You're not doing that anymore. So you won't be able to be around a narcissist now in the future. It'll drive you nuts. You want somebody on your own level, healthier people around you, where there's a give and take and ebb and flow and equality in the relationship. You see more and more and more that you just don't have much in common with this person, and you don't need to have much in common with them. Don't try to make that happen. Just go by what is naturally occurring. That's your sign. At first, it can be a bit upsetting. We can feel distrust or even sad about it, because what's going on here? I've known this person for like 25 years. We've been close our whole life, but things are changing, and it's healthier to acknowledge the change, feel the grief and the loss about the loss of a friendship, the change of a relationship with a family member or a coworker. Let yourself feel that sadness, because it is a loss, and the relationship is not, and nor will it be the same in the future, more than likely. A red flag, so to speak, something for you to be aware of, that this is happening indeed. If you're making excuses to get away from the person, you're finding ways to not hang out with them. Maybe you just don't want to think about what it's really about. Well, maybe it's because you're outgrowing them. Have an honest talk with yourself. When you're around them, everything seems a bit monotonous. You're over it. It's like you're going back in time or something. You don't like it. You're not the same person. And they don't seem to be changing. Now, if they're changing as well, that can be great. That's how people can grow together. Friendships, relationships, etc. can evolve. But many times they don't evolve together, and that's when we have to be willing to let go. Another red flag, you're not sharing so much about yourself. Maybe you have this huge accomplishment. You just got a big promotion at work. It's a fantastic opportunity. And you notice, I have no desire to tell my best friend about this. I really don't want to talk to my dad about this. Ask yourself, what's that about? Maybe it's because they don't get you. They don't even understand what creates passion in you, where you're headed in life, what you want to accomplish. You used to tolerate that before, but you can't tolerate it anymore. You want people to know where you're at, to actively try to understand you. And you want to do that for others. You'd like an equal playing field to some degree. You may notice your priorities and your values don't really connect anymore, if at all. So instead of viewing any and all of this as a negative thing, a bad thing, it's actually a very healthy thing. It simply means you're growing and evolving. And so let yourself grow and evolve. Allow yourself to feel the loss and grief about people you won't be close to anymore the way you used to be close to. Doesn't mean you still can't occasionally see them or be kind to them or send them love. It just means you're at different levels of development. Sometimes people want to blame somebody because they're drifting. Maybe even pick a fight or think, what did I do wrong or what did they do wrong, when really it has nothing to do with wrong or right. You're simply evolving, you're growing, continue to grow, and then begin to pay attention to and notice what you're attracting into your life. The new people, the new relationships, the new boyfriend or girlfriend, the new friendships, the new family, the other family members that you didn't have relationships before. Now all of a sudden you find maybe you're getting closer to them. Just simply notice all the different directions that you're headed and pay attention to that. Pay attention to what you're being drawn to. So please leave me some comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this topic. Please subscribe to my mental health YouTube channel if you like these kind of videos. And until next week, this is Brad Shore signing off from Ask a Shrink.